Heavenly Father, we address you this morning on several items. One is we want to say thank you for the rains over the past week, and even this morning, a nice, easy rain. We ask for these light rains to continue so that we can get caught up on our table of rain or water. Lord, we also ask you to guard over our highways and our parks and our beaches. During this vacation period when young people are running helter-skelter and having a good time, we want that to be a good time without accidents, accident-free. We ask you to give us safety for our sheriff's department, safety in our jails, safety on the highways, and particularly on the frontier between our neighbor Mexico and ourselves, to keep those that would do harm to our country, to our state, to our county, off of our shores. Lord, finally, we pray for today's agenda. We pray for our judge and for our commissioners, as always, to do their best to follow your wisdom and your direction for the benefit of all the people of Cameron County. In Jesus' name I pray. Amen.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Let me jump to an item on the agenda which is out of order. It's item number 6, consideration and adoption of the resolution supporting the NFL franchise acquisition and stadium development by Petitioner and Associates. And we have Raleigh Copple here today on behalf of Petitioner and Associates to talk to us a little bit about this most interesting project. Raleigh, the floor is yours.
Thank you, Judge. Members of the Commissioners Court. This is a project sponsored by family of McHenry Tishner, who, as you know, were pioneers in this region, and he started the first Spanish language radio station in Harlingen in 1939. And since then they have become experts in Hispanic media, and as such they've developed a keen understanding of the Hispanic marketplace, making this present endeavor of theirs a natural fit. Their company, Tishner Media Systems, has merged with Univision and now is the largest Spanish language media in the country. Mr. Tishner feels that now is payback time. He wants to do something for the Rio Grande Valley. And as such, he's conducted a very careful study of the possibility of bringing a national NFL franchise to the Valley. The way to do that would be to acquire another team and then get permission. I think there are 32 teams now in the NFL, and a number of them can be purchased. I suppose any of them could be purchased for the right price. The price will be tremendous. The project is enormous, but Mr. Tishner and his group are prepared to, they spent over $1 million already making a careful study of the possibilities. They're prepared to spend at least another $2 million promoting and marketing it in the United States and in Mexico. They commissioned a survey by Gallup. The response has been tremendous. On the surface, it sounds like it's almost impossible, but they believe it is possible. They believe that with the growth of the Rio Grande Valley and with the support they're getting in Mexico, Mr. Tishner has been in Mexico City and has spent some time with our ambassador and a number of other governors of different states in Mexico. The results of the Gallup survey is positive. We have roughly a population of about 7.4 million people that have demonstrated an interest in a project of this type. Now, of course, the effect of a project of this magnitude in the Rio Grande Valley, and it will be located in a central location, partially in Hidalgo County, partially in Cameron County. And they really believe that they can bring this to fruition, and we're asking you to support their efforts in any way which appears to be feasible and logical and beneficial to the interests of the people of Cameron County. And we feel that this will be. I have been over in some detail with Judge Hinojosa. I have not had a chance to talk to each of you, and I welcome your questions, and we ask for your support.
I had a chance to meet with Mr. Tishner and Raleigh last week about this project, and before anybody gets the idea that this is something that's, you know, a dream, we need to look at the demographics that are involved, because I think that's where Mr. Tishner or the Tishner family and Raleigh is focusing on. In the Rio Grande Valley, we have 1 million people. That's right now. That was the population in the last census. Probably it's up at a 25% to 30% growth rate, or maybe even higher. We're closer to 1.25 million. If you take northern Mexico, you add to that another 1.5 million people, and that puts your total population within a 50-mile radius of, let's say, Weslaco, which would be the central part of the Rio Grande Valley. You have a population of at least 2.5, maybe close to 3 million people. Monterrey is 2 hours on the autopista from McAllen, or from, I've done it from the Los Indios Bridge. That brings in an additional population of about 6 million people, maybe more. Who knows how many people live in Monterrey. And 2 hours to the north is, or 2.5, is Corpus Christi, which brings an additional population of about 350,000 people. So within a 2.5-hour radius of Weslaco, we have a combined population of somewhere between 8 to 10 million people. There isn't a metropolitan area outside of Chicago, New York, and LA that is that big. Even the Fort Worth, Dallas metropolitan area is not that big. And so you have a lot of people who would be part of the fan that are within a very close proximity of this location, this place where this team is being proposed to be built. On top of that, the South Texan and Northern Mexico aficionado, sports aficionado, is a football fanatic in addition to soccer. And as I understand, the discussions that are going on is that would be also an option available with any stadium that would be constructed. And then, you know, if you're wondering about Monterrey, I mean, just look at, in terms of whether or not they would be part of the group that this team would be targeting. Look at the condominiums that are owned on South Padre Island, most of which are from people from Monterrey. So, I mean, I think this is something that we need to encourage, and as much as possible at this point, since we don't have to spend any money or make any financial commitments, support and see where it goes. I just think that we need to shoot as high as we can with these kinds of projects, because a lot of times you never know, we may be successful. I mean, if a little town of 100,000 people like Green Bay, Wisconsin can have a football team that's a great team, why can't a significantly large community of football fanatics,
That's true.
a number of which are sitting up here, not deserve an NFL team that would bring the Super Bowl to South Texas someday, huh? So anyway, I think it's a great idea, Raleigh. I commend you. You know, Raleigh never stopped. He's like the ever-ready bunny. He just doesn't ever stop going. I mean, he was here a couple of years ago with a project on a development over here near Amigoland Park, and we supported that. And he's continuing to come with a lot of vision and foresight, and this is one example of that. And I hope that we can support this, and I wish you the best of luck, and I would hope that we can continue our discussions with y'all.
Raleigh, how long has this been going on? Because I remember, I think they've worked on it for years. I recall being at the Chamber of Commerce with the Tischners and discussing this. So it's been, what, 6 years, or?
We're getting tremendous support from the Valley Partnership, Bill Summers and his group, and we intend to approach every city in the valley, Cameron and Hidalgo County, asking for their support of this. And with this, we intend to launch at least $1 million marketing effort. We've conducted very careful surveys in Mexico and in the United States, and we intend for this to be a bicultural effort with the cultures of Mexico and the United States celebrated in the design of the stadium and in what we're offering. And when I was first approached on this project, I remembered that over 50 years ago, John Tompkins came into my office with a thing he prepared on South Padre Island. It was an artist's conception of what South Padre Island might look like. And I thought the old man had absolutely lost it when I saw these high rises. And he didn't live to see the whole thing come to fruition. But what we see today makes what he envisioned 50, 60 years ago seem pretty small, actually, because it is happening, and the McAllen and the Brownsville SMSAs are among the fastest growing in the area. And when you think about it, the largest source the biggest engine behind that is not agriculture anymore. It's not necessarily heavy industry. It's people, it's tourism. We're taking advantage of some of our natural attributes which bring people here. And this would be in addition to being football stadium. It would be a place for cultural events. It would be a place for soccer. It would be a place for a lot of things. A stadium that would seat over 60,000 people. And so I can't say that it will happen, but without a plan, it won't happen.
Well, Raleigh, I don't think
We have a plan.
I don't think you'd be standing there advocating this if you weren't pretty sure that it can be successful. And I know that the Tishners are known for thinking out of the box, and this is just another example. Now, you mentioned the people from Mexico at the island. You also have a lot of people from Mexico that own homes in Rancho Viejo. And so they're already very much involved on our side.
Very much part of what we do.
Well,
We would appreciate your support.
any other questions from anybody?
Just want to comment, would be a wonderful opportunity for the entire valley and our entire area, as you've discussed it and explained it, Mr. Koppel. It's only a positive thing that could be good for everyone, is the way it looks to me. Of course, I'm sure there's lots of things that the Tishners are going through to make a determination on how and when, and whether or not it can be done, but certainly I'm very complimentary of them doing that, because it needs to be done.
I can only imagine the economic impact that it will have in the Rio Grande Valley. But I know why they're interested, aside from the logistics of it, Mexico and all those other big towns around it. I know that they're probably interested in it because of the good weather that we have, you know?
That's right.
That's one of the probably main things. Let me ask you, is there any possibility that we can bring the Dallas Cowboys down?
No,
No, but it'd be
you
nice,
know,
right?
the Dallas Cowboys actually has been supportive of our efforts.
Let me tell you, they'll
What-
probably be very jealous.
What we intend to do is to acquire, I say we, the Tishner Associates, is to acquire another team somewhere that would rather be here than where they are, and then get permission from the NFL to move it. That would not be the Dallas Cowboys or the Houston team, and we're far enough away that we would not
Tennessee.
interfere with
Vince
them.
Young.
But on the other hand, can you imagine a game between the Valley Knights and the Dallas Cowboys taking place down here? Or
That's great.
whatever occurs.
I'm going to tell you right now, I'm a
In line
Cowboy
with
diehard.
with what you're saying, we have Carlos here, Cameron County Workforce
Yeah.
Group. They've been very supportive of what we're doing. What it would mean in terms of jobs is something we're always very, very conscious of.
When I was a kid, which was a long time ago, I remember my weeks would be the attitude that I would have in any certain week would depend upon the outcome of a Sunday afternoon game between the Dallas Cowboys and someone else. And if they didn't win, I would be miserable. If they did, I would be happy. And so this is a community that is just rabid about football. Go to any high school football game on a Friday night or a Saturday night, and see how the fans are. When you're a politician, it's hard to go to a football game, because if you have teams playing from within a county, if you're a countywide elected official, it's hard to determine where to sit. So you have to be real careful about that kind of stuff, because people take their football personal in this community, and I know that would extend obviously to a professional football team. So this is a good deal, and I would hope that we can support it. And please come back to us, Raleigh, if as things are developed, and let us know what y'all are doing, and tell us how we can help.
We'll welcome that opportunity, Your Honor, and we appreciate, more than I could say, all of your support.
Thank you. Do I have a motion?
So moved.
Motion by Commissioner Garza, second by Commissioner Benavides. Any further discussion? All those in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Opposed, motion carries. And we'll report in this yes vote in just a second.
Thank you.
Thank you. You had a yes vote on the resolution, right, Commissioner?
Yes, I make a motion to support this resolution.
You already did, and we recorded your vote as a yes.
Very good. That was my daughter calling from California.
Oh, how
When you
is
get a
she?
call from one of your kids, she forgets about the time change. That was,
Okay. All right, let me go back to item number 2, presentation regarding the Cameron County Stormwater Management Regional Plan. Do that, or, Mr. Nichols?
Mr. Ernest.
Morning, Judge and Commissioners. We have Mr. Mark Luker here this morning from PETSI, and they'll be doing a short presentation for you to bring you up to date on the regional stormwater plan. This is something that the county has been working with the firm that was selected, and this would be like the introduction or the start date for this particular program that we're developing. And without any further ado, I'll let Mr. Mark Luker make these presentations.
Good morning, Judge, Commissioners. As Ernest said, I'm Mark Liffer. I'm with TESI Infrastructure Group. We were retained by the county, our team was retained by the county to assist you in preparing the stormwater management plan. In front of you, you have a packet that's got this on the front of it. This is will be our eventually be our web page that will attach to the county web page, whether it's the county or the judge's web page. This will be able to be brought up by students, industry, and everybody else to find out what we're doing on the program, what different activities we've got going. As you flip over, Cameron County is considered a MS4, which is a municipal storm sewer system program, and it falls under the 6 different components of this plan are listed on as public education and outreach, public involvement, the illicit discharge of determinations into your storm sewer and ditches, the construction site runoff control, post-construction runoff, and then the pollution prevention, which is good housekeeping, what we do to continue the program to keep it clean. And all this is affected under the Clean Water Act, trying to minimize the amount of pollutants going into your Laguna Madre and also into the Gulf of Mexico. But this program was mandated by EPA and TCEQ is who we're working under on this particular program. The 6 different components are shown on the next sheet. And as you can see, there's a lot of public involvement, public outreach connected with this program. And the first year of our program is actually considering a lot of this public education outreach, which is getting with the schools, informing the students of what the program is, coming up with different handouts to give to them, also attending different civic organizations, working very closely together with your solid waste people, along with your code enforcement people, so that we can identify illicit discharges into streams, into inlets. We want to be able to find who's dumping that trash into these streams, causing problems. But it also goes all the way back to your actual home, your household pesticides and stuff that you use on your yards, oil on your driveway that when it rains it washes into your storm sewer systems or into your ditches. Your pet waste, a lot of people let their pets do the thing on the grass and they don't pick it up and throw it in the trash. So, I mean, it goes all the way back down to your actual home activities.
I notice under public comment, you have that you'll be looking at encouraging citizen representatives on a stormwater management panel. What design or what process do you plan to use for getting that panel
We'd
together?
come to you and kind of look for your guidance on the different panels that we're talking about is we'll be creating a poster contest, and we'll be picking judges for the poster contest, along with input from different panels on the plan itself is how we address these concerns.
So that actually is plural and not,
Right.
you'll
right.
have more than one panel for
Right.
various
Yes, ma'am.
activities.
Yes, ma'am. We'll also be eventually in the upcoming years, this is a 5-year program is what what the EPA and TCEQ has indicated. And in the later years, we'll be looking at possibly coming up with ordinances and stuff that we'll have you approve and pass so that you can enforce some of these problems. And then a little bit further back, you see a chart that looks like this. This is a total 5-year program with all the different things identified. In the first year, we're going to be looking at, of course, creating a website that'll be attached to the county's site. Creating a slogan. We want to come up with a slogan for Cameron County. This will be used on bumper stickers, and we want to keep the same slogan all the way through. Then we've got a hotline that we want to put together that identifies the swamp program. This will eventually be a hotline that people can call in and report illicit discharges and things. We'll eventually go out and stencil all the manholes with numbers and also the storm inlets, so that if somebody's seen dumping something in there, they can report. They know what that inlet is by the number, and then that way we can go look and see it catching people. All the ditches will be outlined. We're going to create a GIS map which identifies all your Cameron County ditches. We'll be pulling all that information in from all your drainage districts, together with all your storm sewers. All your inlets will be shown on that GIS map. And that'll be in different layers that you can use for many other things. And then back in the back of your packet, there's a separate little thing that looks like this. These are things that we pulled off of the internet that we've come up with. This is for kids and things that they can pull these together, make little fish puzzles and stuff. Together with this is the next one is what we call a door hanger. Once we get into the program, if your code enforcement or whoever finds problems with things, they can put these little door hangers on their door and check. It's not a citation, it's just to alert them. And then there's this program here is little stickers that the schools can use, little stick-on things with different sayings on them, and we'll look at creating some more of these. But what EPA and TCEQ has indicated that they don't want us to recreate the wheel. Use whatever you can that's been established and try and continue that process. And then this is a bookmark that can be given out to students or whoever, front and back, that kind of identifies the stormwater management stuff. And you've got two 11x17 sheets there. The first one is a poster for industrial sites. This kind of shows them what's good and what's bad as far as the different aspects. And then the second part is what we call a placemat that can be put in for kids to fill out at restaurants or wherever we need, schools. We want to create a partnership with the museum here so that they can have summer classes on stormwater. We want to teach the kids from kindergarten up what it means to have clean water so that we can continue to have our Laguna Madre as a nice fishing place. That pretty well covers the program where we're at now, and we'll continue to update you probably on a monthly type basis where we're at. This is this isn't in your packet, but this is a logo that Harris County and Galveston came up with, and it shows a catfish and an egret on it. And I'd like to see about possibly using this same concept so that as you go along the coast, everybody sees the same type sticker. And maybe we make ours make it specific to ours. Maybe it's a dolphin and a pelican or something like that. So we'll probably have a contest because we want to We want to be able to name our mascots, and we'll have suits made up eventually of, that people can wear, like, what do you call them, the mascots? When they have civic events and stuff, they can dress up like one of these mascots. So we'll have a contest probably to name the 2 mascots or something.
I volunteer Remy.
Remy to wear the suit?
Yeah.
Okay.
We had a whale.
Together with me today is Renee Gonzalez and Selena Garza with Dos Logistics. And then Maribel Bermudez Guerrero with Bermudez and Associates is here today. Selena and Maribel will be basically handling the public involvement, public outreach program for us. Renee will be assisting us, Renee and Gume actually will be assisting us in securing funding sources, because it will take a commitment from the Commissioners Court over the years to keep this program going. In the long term, the good housekeeping, the pollution, and good housekeeping may be that as you get more and more subdivisions going with curb and gutter streets, to be able to street clean those streets and stuff and keep the gutters clean. So it will take an involvement in that, and that's where we want to try and help you find some funding to buy some of that equipment.
Mark,
Any questions?
yes, I have a question. Are all of the cities MS4s in Cameron County?
The ones that are over, not all of them, Brownsville, Harlingen, anything over 100,000, actually is the city.
Is MS4? Okay. And,
Well, they have a MS4, they have different levels of MS4. MS4 is just, that's considered a municipal stormwater system, storm sewer system. That's how it gets the MS4. The size is based on the population. So your Harlingen, your Brownsville are your bigger cities, so they're like the medium size, and then the small would be your cities under 10,000.
So the
Okay.
MS4 is just a global term.
Right.
one of the, we have considerable amount of storm runoff, but one of the main providers of storm runoff is the ag area. That's not at all addressed in
From
this
the
plan.
irrigation part?
Yes, and from just runoff after you have a major rain event.
All of that agricultural, if it goes into your ditch, then it's covered in this plan. This covers any county ditch. So if they're irrigating fields or runoff from fields into your ditches, will be covered under this plan. And we'll have to meet with those irrigation districts also.
Okay, well, most of the time it's individuals, though, that would be abutting a road easement that we would have where runoff from the irrigation process, which would include herbicides, pesticides, and fertilizers, would be going into. Okay, so is there some jurisdiction for,
I'll have to look into that, because this plan is mainly considering like the construction type side.
Right.
But I'll check into that. I think that they require that whoever's using the pesticides do them in accordance with the manufacturer's guidelines. But I'll do some checking into that.
I think the only place that I see it addressed, David, is your second paragraph on what is the municipal separate storm sewer system. The second paragraph, unless I missed something, is the only place where that's addressed. And I agree with the commissioner, that's a serious problem. I know it is in my precinct.
Yeah, because you've got a lot of people using pesticides in these agricultural.
yeah, I know we just listened to a presentation by Ms. Garza, I believe, from the Arroyo Colorado Watershed Group, and their concern with a lot of runoff involves, some of that ag runoff that goes into the areas, And I didn't know if what we're doing here with this plan would also include that.
It should, if it's going into your ditches, we should be able to monitor that, and I'll check into that for you.
Well, the other problem, and it might not fall under this, and it might be more surveillance from our part, is that they destroy our ditches. They go in and fix them for drainage, and then in their farming, they come too far or whatever, and the ditches are destroyed. And then you don't have that drainage. I mean, the drainage isn't happening like it should.
You're talking about that plow into your...
Yeah, they
into your
plow
road.
the ditches and they...
And that may be something that we can address under this program. It wouldn't necessarily be an illicit discharge, but it'd be obstructing your drainage.
The prevention of the drainage.
Right,
So I would think it would come under that program.
right.
If there is an enforcement component to this, it would fall under what code of what we're authorized to do as a county?
You would have to, we'd have to look at, see if you have an ordinance that covers it.
Well, we don't do ordinances.
Or some kind of mandate through the county. I can sure research that and come back with you.
Because that would be an important
Yeah.
component of the plan. Everything we do is because we have something that has been legislated that allows us to be able to
A state
implement an enforcement.
legislature.
No, I was going to say, Commissioner, just in addition to that, we do have our subdivision rules and regulations as part of the mandate that the county has. We don't have an ordinance, but we do have regulations. And through that, we can implement or amend our regulations, so.
Okay,
just
so it can be
matter-
done that way.
But that just covers the subdivision
Portion.
portion of it,
Right.
not outside the subdivision, so. But I'll check into
A
that.
county road is not considered a political subdivision of any, like somehow be able to connect to a subdivision process?
I don't think so.
Not that
No?
I mean, all roads have a collection system through the bar district.
Right.
And eventually they have a discharge point somewhere, through a major drain ditch or the arroyo or the Rio Grande, so, or Resaca. So really, all roads within the county have some connection to some body of water, so,
Or should?
or should.
Or should, because, I
Those
spent...
that don't have collection systems.
Well, okay, and I will, we had a situation early this morning with a subdivision that had been approved by this county on a county road that has no storm drainage ditch in front of it, and the concern from that community was, well, where will the water go? Of course, they already built their homes, they have them up, it's a very well-traveled road in the northern part of the county, but one guy even put a concrete driveway from his house to the road and then decided, well, what are we gonna do now to get the water to flow out of here? So we approve subdivisions without,
Nowadays, no, I mean, the ones we're reviewing, they need to have a drainage plan.
okay.
It's part of-
Well, I'll forward that to your office. I did already.
There
But
may be one that, who knows, since I've been here, I know the past few years.
it might have been approved way earlier.
Well, your plats are required, they're required to take care of the drainage on site.
Either that or I don't know.
You prefaced your comments by stating that this was something that had come down from EPA and TCEQ. Did they send any money down?
No, no.
See, this is part
Well,
of the
there's money
problem.
available, we just need to find it.
This is going to
There
be
is
part of the
funding.
problem, because depending on what all is required, this could be a huge, huge financial burden on any entity, not just the county, but the towns and cities also. And I know it has been on the city of Brownsville in years past, because it may end up having to create catchment basins, so when this agricultural runoff runs off into a ditch, at some point you catch that, and you sample it, you clean it up before you let it go farther. It could be, it can grow into something that's
Like a big
tremendously
retention pond
expensive.
type thing that
Yeah.
you treat or whatever.
And clean up and carry off and dispose of properly is very expensive.
I think you're already aware of the fact that you have no power for a follow-up, because on your, what you have to hang on the doorknob, you very clearly say this is not a citation.
Right.
And then you go on to say this is to inform you that our staff found the following. And so,
It's just kind of raise
Right,
their
awareness,
attention to,
so at this point, and this is a good thing, I mean, we need it, but from what I have seen here, and I'll go over it again, it's mainly educating the public
Right.
and making them aware, more of an awareness. I would certainly hope that we can go into a next phase, which is to enforce it, but it's like the commissioner says, we need to look into what can we
Into
do
the
and what
state
we
legislature.
can't do.
Well, some of these things possibly might fit under the health codes that we do have enforcement power over.
That's true.
Not all.
There's some, like up in the Harris County, Houston area, there was things that we found up there where people had septic systems. They had drain fields attached to them, but they also had an overflow going to a ditch. They never knew when their drain fields were working or when they weren't. If they weren't working, it went into the ditch, and as we went through there, we noted those and cited them. But that was under the health department.
What difference does it make? I mean, we have the authority to enforce the state law, the state of Texas, through either the county attorney or the district attorney's office, whether it's an ordinance or it's a state code, health code, we have a right to enforce it. And if someone is violating it, then we should, take the appropriate action and enforce it.
A little later in the program here, maybe in the second or third year, we'll be pulling all those together. Because under the Clean Water Act, that was passed by Congress, so there's a lot of things that Clean Water Act covers. But we'll be pulling all those together, and I'll get with the state rules and regulations for response to Commissioner Garza and Commissioner Cayo, and we'll see what we can come up with that you can enforce.
Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you, sir.
Do y'all have anything else? No? Okay. So we've got two beautiful women that are going to be doing all of our education outreach stuff. So we should have all the schools have. We've talked to some of them. They're all interested in the program. There's a lot of games, computer games that have been developed for this program that we'll be getting those and downloading them onto the website, and also creating those associations with all the school districts so that the school districts can actually have a little class maybe that they use for stormwater management.
Let me ask, are any of the cities already doing any of that?
In Cameron
In Cameron
County?
County, like Harlingen or Brownsville, that have already MS4s?
The only thing I think they're doing right now is the phase one stuff, which was the notice of intent, the stormwater pollution prevention plans that go with the construction. But we'll be checking with them also.
Because you're gonna do it in all within the city and outside of the city, right? That's your plan for the
Well,
application?
it's working together with them. They have to have their own plan, but.
Right.
But wherever they discharge into your ditches, we'll have to coordinate that.
Because it would make sense to do public involvement as a community instead of each entity in its own.
Right, and that's what EPA and TCEQ have indicated, that you don't want to have everybody doing their own little thing, try and combine together workforces so that you have one big group that's doing this.
In the other special districts or things like drainage districts that we have in the area, this to me would seem to be an ideal project for the Oregon Valley Development Council to coordinate throughout the valley.
Yeah.
Okay, anything else? Your motion to acknowledge report?
So, second,
Makes a
who
motion.
made the motion?
Who made the motion?
Make the motion.
Second.
Makes a motion, Commissioner Tamayo, second the motion. Any further discussion? All those in favor, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Motion
Thank
carries.
you.
Thank you.
3, budget amendments, line item transfers and/or salary schedules. Any questions, concerns, comments, complaints? Your motion?
I make the motion.
Second. Motion by
Did you have anything else,
Commissioner
Eddie?
Rivera, second by Commissioner Garcia. Any further discussion? All those in favor, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All opposed, motion carries. Claims? Okay.
This right here?
Any questions, complaints, concerns, comments on any of the claims? If not,
Move to approve, Judge.
motion to approve by Commissioner
Second.
Garcia, second by Commissioner Hernandez. Any further discussion? All those in favor, signify by stating aye.
Aye.
Opposed, motion carries.
No.
Note my abstention on ward number 00163-833 to Southwest Key Program and 00163-733 Laguna Madre Water District.
And note my extension on 820 and 001-63789.
And let me just say something before I forget. The executive director of the Laguna Madre Water District, Memo Perez, who is former city commissioner for many years in the Port Isabel area, suffered a very, very severe heart attack the day before. I think it was on Sunday or Saturday, and is in very critical condition in the hospital. And I would ask that we send our prayers to him and his family, that he recover, and that his family help deal with these difficult times they're facing today. He's just a great man who has served that community in a lot of different ways for many, many years. A volunteer firefighter, was the fire chief's best friend, the one that was drowned during the Cosmo collapse, and he's just having a really difficult time today. So if you all have a chance, if you know the family, please extend your prayers to the family.
May I also say that our friend, personal friend, and a former employee of Cameron County, Willie Rocha, the Rocha family, passed away on Saturday morning. He worked briefly for Cameron County Health, and he was only 49 years old.
And I don't know, did
Condolences to the family.
Did Brother Clark mention Arturo Gonzalez? No. Also, Arturo Gonzalez, longtime constable, passed away last week also. So his family, very, very serving family, and he was one of those, and passed away after a long, lengthy illness. So my condolences to the family. Okay,
Don't think you called.
No, there weren't any.
You didn't call.
okay. Did all those in favor signify by state and I?
Aye.
All opposed, motion carries. 5, consideration and possible action regarding issues raised by the Employee Health Benefits Committee regarding Mutual of Omaha, including but not limited to denied claims and possible issuing of bids for third-party administrative stop-loss coverage and provider network. Yes, sir.
Okay, I know that back in January or December, came back for you and asking you about the health plan and the, what the status was at that time and whatever. But since then, we've had complaints. In fact, up to yesterday, we had an official come over and said his doctor in Harlingen, where he has a neck specialist, told him that he was not going to be in our PPO anymore because of the discounts he gives and all that, but then on top of that, they take so long to reimburse him for his claims. And then I've had some employees also have complained about getting bills from the doctor because their claims are not being paid. And I know that some other officials have addressed with the front office about their claims and the delays and questioning and requesting questions. So the committee felt that it was proper to address it with you all to see what your recommendations were as far as how we can get them to expedite these claims. They're supposed to do it in 45 days. All claims are supposed to be reviewed and addressed within 45 days. This is not happening because I had one doctor call me that they've been going for since before the first of the year, they haven't paid him some claims. So this is the reason that we decided to address this and bring it to your attention. So that
What had you done beforehand?
well, we weren't having this problem before. We were just going good. Nobody, I didn't have any complaints.
So you haven't done anything to find out, or have you
On
haven't-
this thing, I've requested that they give me a list of all the claims that are pending and the reason why they're being delayed. And I've done this for the last 3 weeks, and I have yet to receive that. And up till last week, we called again and said, look, we want to know what claims are pending and the reason for the delays, and we haven't received a response from them. We talked to Justin Morris out of Woodward, Oklahoma, and so that's what it is. They came down, Johnny Cavazos and some other, they're supposed to come back and give us a response next week. But before then, we wanted to be sure that...
Mr. Villarreal, I know I had one complaint that came to our office, and when we made a phone call, it turned out that the physician had billed a wrong insurance company. And it had nothing to do with the insurance company. It had to do with where the bill went to.
Yeah, we've had some of
And,
those, yeah.
You know, so in a matter of like a week, that particular issue was taken care of. Are there any minutes of the meeting that you had? Because I know that the last time that we visited on the insurance committee, at least two of us on this commission requested that minutes be forwarded to us after the meeting so that we would know what was occurring with the committee.
Okay, we met Friday morning.
Are there any
And we
minutes?
recorded all the minutes and we'll have them typed in.
Is that the first meeting you have this year?
No, we had one earlier when we brought up the other issue in regards to if you all wanted us to go out for bids or.
Since the appointment of that committee, how many meetings has this committee had?
3. Since last year that we appointed, we've had 3 meetings, yes.
From the time they were appointed? You
Yeah, we
don't-
did one when we did the library, when we went out for bids for library.
When's the last time we went out for proposals for our,
On the health plan?
Yeah.
It's been going on 4 years. We have an option to renew.
what happens if we go out for proposals and now, we're not bound to change coverage, but we can find out what's out there, right?
Yeah, you can do that anytime. And it takes about, once you go out for proposal, you have to allow them 60 days to get all the information, get all the figures, and so that they can see what it would cost them to come back with a proposal. There are several options. We are self-funded, so we normally get an administrator, or you can go out and request for a fully funded plan where they cover all that.
Have we had an actuarial study done on where we're at with our plan in the last 6 months?
No, and we need to, normally, we've
I mean,
had,
we're going into the budget process, and I, for one, would be very interested to find out how we're doing with the plan as we have it now in regards to what we're putting in and what we're expensing out, because I think that's a critical component of how we budget for the next fiscal year, our health monies for our employees, for the county.
I have secured all the figures for Mark, and Mark is doing an evaluation on that as far as what our claims have been and what we're paying versus what we're receiving, and I'm sure, he's not here today, but I'm
But
sure
in
he
the
can do
past,
that.
though, haven't we used like a consultant to go
Yes.
in, independent of our own county people, to go do an actuarial study and look at what, by category, we've spent in the, different areas?
Yeah, we used Mike Swetnam last time, but there's others. I noticed that the city of Harlingen also had a person that evaluated their plan, and then when they went out for bids. It's not easy to change or to do that. It takes quite a bit of time. So the more time you give it, the better results you're gonna get on getting
What's wrong
proposals.
with taking a look at other plans? I mean, what's wrong with, it's been 4 years that we've been with this plan, and there are complaints about claims not being paid out there, and, I wouldn't mind looking at what our options are, and, if we think that this is still the best plan, we'll stay with it. If not, we can change plans, as long as it doesn't affect the bottom line. When you're looking at insurance plans, you're looking at 2 things, or
Several
3
things.
depending upon how you look at it. First of all, the most important thing is that our employees are covered, and that they're covered with the best plan for the price that we can get, that they can go to a doctor, and that they can go to doctors within the PPO that are going to provide them good health care, and that they're not going to be worried about whether they can return to that doctor because their claims are not being paid, or about whether they're going to get additional health care necessary because their claims are not being paid, or about whether they're going to have to pay the money up front and then apply to the insurance company to get their money. To me, that's the first most important thing that we need to look at. Then we obviously have to look at the price. Can we afford the insurance plan that we've got within the budgetary constraints that we have. But I don't want to sacrifice service for money, because ultimately our employees, these are the people that we asked to come to work and to provide service to the people of Cameron County. If those two things are not working for whatever reason, then we've got a problem. It appears that one of the components is got some problems. So I'd like to see what's out there. I mean, it's been 4 years. I mean, what contract do we got that we've had for 4 years? I mean, you know, I don't think we've ever gone this long without going for proposals for insurance, not since I've been here. And so I wouldn't mind taking a look at what our options are out there. And if it turns out that Mutual of Omaha cleans up its act and starts paying out on the claims, and the price is the best price, then we'll stay with them. I know, for example, that some of the hospitals, Valley Baptist is looking at putting together proposals to look at providing insurance coverage to some of the governmental institutions. I know that they've been talking to, you know, the City of Harlingen, and there's discussions about them covering even the Brownsville City employees. So I'd like to see what's out there. I mean, I'd like to see, you know, what kind of proposals local entities, and I would consider Valley Baptist Hospital a local entity, can make to Cameron County to see if it's competitive and whether or not it can provide better service to our employees. I don't think it's going to hurt to ask.
I don't have a problem with that, but I do want follow-up on what you have brought up. Number one, I would like to see the minutes from your committee meetings.
Okay.
We had requested that. Commissioner Garcia's right on that. I'd like to refresh my memory. When does that committee get reappointed? They're not there for life, are
Well,
they?
anytime that you all...
Anytime you want to change members, you can change members.
That's
I
right.
think we need to look at it annually.
Okay, good. And then also, would you like to get, go out for qualifications on somebody to review and do what you were mentioning?
I would like to see an actuarial study done on what we've got in place and what our fund balance is, what we've put in, what we've paid out. Because you've got to have something to start with when you start
Before
trying
you
to
can-
peddle our business. We've got to say this
All of that is part of, putting together requests for
Yeah, but-
proposals, because nobody's going to apply or bid for our insurance program without knowing what they're bidding and applying for. All that information that's generated in the whole process of putting out for proposals. And so I think that's just, it's not on the agenda to do that unless we can go ahead and pass it as part of our resolution on that. In other words, I would entertain a motion to go out for proposals. And if we can add to that, as part of that request for proposals, that we conduct, what do you call it, an actuarial
Actuarial
study?
study.
My thoughts are that we should
That
put
we get
that
a
item on the
report.
agenda, and it'd be just like somebody that's not selling insurance doing that for us.
Well, that's fine.
You know, because,
I don't have-
you know, it's kind of like having the coyote in the hen house, you know, when you do that, you know. I
Well-
think you should have an independent, just like we have an independent auditor that audits books, we should have an independent individual give us like a state of the health of our health insurance plan. And that's just my
I think
thoughts.
Well,
that
a
type of
complete report.
information, that type of information should be kept on a regular basis and updated regularly, and it probably should be provided to the Health Insurance Committee on a regular basis, and they probably should be meeting at least every other month. And they should be getting this type of information every time they meet, so they can do some evaluation and come back to us with some recommendations.
Well, John, that's why I asked how many meetings this committee had, because they are getting paid to be on this committee,
It's type-
and...
Those that
and-
choose to get paid.
Well, someone needs to be able to request the type of information that they need to be having to look at when they do meet.
Yeah,
And they
well, the
probably
auditor
should be
department's supposed to be monitoring that
Well, then
constantly, so we
it'll
can
be
get him to,
monitored
we can get him to
regularly.
do it, yeah.
Now, the other thing, I hadn't finished, but I politely abstained from interrupting any further. I do want some feedback after you meet with, is it Carlos Cavazos, or who is it that's coming down? By
John,
the insurance company?
He's
Johnny
from here,
Cavazos.
from Brownsville.
Well, I mean, whomever you're going to have a meeting with,
Justin Morris?
and whoever
coming down?
else,
No, it's gonna be what, Johnny Cavazos and Kerry Mellick and a new man out of California, that she's coming down with Mutual of Omaha.
Okay.
They're supposed to bring all the figures and all that.
well, I'd like to hear from you,
Okay.
the feedback on, actually a report on what transpired.
Okay.
Are they coming down to meet with the insurance committee or with someone else?
I think they're scheduled to come down, Remy, down to our office here at the conference room on the 1st.
Why is it, who are they going to
Yeah,
meet
but
with?
who's meeting with
Just
them?
have them meet with the insurance committee.
They're
Okay.
the ones that need to be involved.
I mean, I would like a list of complaints, because I know that if you got them in your office, you have them on the list. I would like a list of complaints.
Well, that's, I mean, I'm not sure that
I don't need the name of the individual, that's if they're related, but I can get, like, on this day,
What
we had
type?
this complaint, just like I mentioned, I had a complaint brought forth to my office. We called your office, and in a matter of 3 days, it was resolved.
Yeah, we know.
So I just don't see, there's usually other issues associated with, with not getting paid for something, because we experience those in my line of business on a regular basis. They'll send you a letter saying that medication is not part of the illness covered on this particular plan, so they're not gonna get paid, whatever, but there's other issues associated with that, And we all know that sometimes people take that to the extreme as far as what they plan to cover, what they would like covered on a plan.
Yeah.
And nowadays, as many people have heard already, we've experienced those issues with Part D, the new Social Security program that came into effect. It completely changed the whole playing field as to,
May I say
insurances.
My 2 cents. Yesterday, I was speaking to an employee of Cameron County that's getting paid one of the low-paying jobs that we have. And it is so important to him and his family to stay on the job, in the job, because of the insurance that covers their children, 2 or 3 children, and so forth. It's so important to all of us that we go out for proposals, because it only betters our insurance. When you have competition, you can understand that there's going to be better proposals and better opportunities for our employees. And I think every time we've gone out, Judge, for any proposals, doesn't have to be insurance, we have a better deal. At the very end, the winners are Cameron County employees. And if it takes a long time for this process, I would suggest that we do it right away. We don't have to change insurances. This is the best. I mean, I've been in the hospital, and I have 2 insurances, that's Mutual of Omaha and Blue Cross Blue Shield. And we still have some leakage. Who's going to pay for this and who's going to pay for that? After deduction and all that stuff. So I'd like to go out for proposals and see what the problem is, and
tell us how much time he needs to prepare that information, and in the meantime, get this information over to the commissioners, and then when these people come in, have them meet with the insurance committee, okay?
I'll make the motion.
When are they coming? When is Mitchell Omaha
They're supposed
representatives
to come
coming?
the 1st,
August the 1st?
August 1st, that's Tuesday.
Okay, so there's a motion, is there a second to the?
The motion is what?
To go out for proposals on,
But that's not on the agenda, though. I mean, instructions to
possible
insurance
issuing
committee.
bid for-
Where are you? Are you on number?
5.
You're on 5? What is?
Discussion and instructions to insurance committee.
And
regarding
possible
care.
issuing of bids for third-party administrators
Okay, well, I didn't see, I saw,
and provider network.
let's see. I see, okay, I was reading the agenda item on the
Yeah,
caption,
this is-
on the agenda form. I guess what got on the agenda and what was on the form are 2 separate things.
It's what's on the agenda.
Right, yeah, but what's on the agenda form is a little bit different. What did the committee request?
What's on
Did you-
the request?
You requested what's on the request here, right?
Yes.
Okay.
Well, you're having problems with going out for proposals?
No, I'm just saying that I was reading 2 different things tonight, okay? I'm just trying to get it
So
straight.
when we go
I have
by-
absolutely no problems going out on proposals. I have, I mean, make one thing clear. I just want to make sure that I'm on the same wavelength as everybody else here with this request and what's occurred on the agenda. That's it.
And we're going by the agenda.
All right, there's a motion. Is there a second to that motion?
Second.
Any further discussion? All those in favor, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, motion carries. Sir. 7, consideration and possible action regarding the expansion of Parks Advisory Board to include representatives from the Isla Blanco Savings Isla Blanco Organization. Did y'all come up with a name? Okay.
No, we have had a name. We're Friends of Isla Blanca Park, but everybody knows us as the Save Isla Blanca Park group, so either one is fine, but our official name.
Individual.
An individual.
Oh,
the individual.
Oh, for the,
Parks
no,
Board.
we have come, well, first of all, let me say we want to thank you for providing the spot or for considering a spot for one of us from our group, and we are very carefully deciding who would be the most appropriate person for that role. Today, I came, and some of us came with a list of questions, just we don't have any information about the Parks Advisory Board. So I'm just going to present the questions, and I will leave them with Mr. Mendez or Mr. Garza, whoever is the appropriate person. Let me just, they're just, how often does the board meet? Where and when do they meet? How many people are on the board? Who are the other Park Advisory Board members? Meaning, are they employees of the county or parks, or just citizens at large?
Private citizens.
Just private citizens. How are the board members normally chosen? How long do board members serve? What are the duties and functions of the Park Advisory Board? What is the structure of the board, meaning does it have officers? Is it a round table discussion, that kind of thing? How are decisions made by the board? Do they vote on a decision and then present that? Does the board serve solely as an advisory committee? How are the decisions and information of the board used? And to whom does the Parks Board report? And we'll just take those answers, just if they want to send them to us, and then we'll be able to choose the best person. We're going to be having a meeting in about 2 weeks, I believe. Maybe 2.5 weeks, and at that time we can decide, and we can contact the county and let you know who our person is.
Okay.
All right? Any
I can
questions?
give you the answer to all your questions in about 3 sentences.
But I might forget them.
It'd probably be easy for Mr. Mendez to reply to you in writing on these, so y'all can look at them and
Certainly.
figure out who you feel like is the best person to
That would be,
participate in.
But in a nutshell, I mean, it's an advisory board. Decisions, action that the park, like setting of fees and that kind of stuff, development, they're run by the Parks Board and ask for a recommendation from the Parks Board. The Parks Board's decisions are recommendations to the County Commissioners Court. The board members are selected by the commissioners. In the past, they're kind of designated by commissioners, but we're now up to 7 members. And so it's kind of, the commissioners have a person that they recommend, but we kind of work together in appointing the members. And they vote on every recommendation made, and they organize themselves into an organization with the chairman and so forth. And so the reason I believe that it was important for you all to have someone there is to avoid some of the issues that came up with respect to this Isla Blanca development. That proposal, as I understand, was presented to the Parks Board, and if you were on the Park Board, you would have seen it come through, and you would have been able to act accordingly and come to us. You can come as a board member, or you can come as a board. It doesn't matter. Whatever decision you make is up to you, but it puts you in a position of having direct access to some of the inner workings of the Parks Department. That's basically why I believe it's important for y'all to have a representative.
okay. Thank you very much.
Countywide Parks Department.
Countywide.
Not just Isla
Yeah,
Blanca.
it covers
Right,
every-
right, that's what I understood.
Every park project in the county.
That's what I was wondering, if it was all the little parks everywhere, the whole deal.
Everything.
Right,
All
okay.
the parks in Cameron County are now under the Parks Department.
Okay,
The
all
whole
right.
deal.
Thank you. Should I just give this to Mr. Mayor?
Yeah, if you want to enter those.
Move to approve the expansion of the advisory board.
Second.
As needed, it's not a set schedule as those projects are
And I
presented.
think it's a 2-year term, but I'm not sure.
Oh, okay.
Okay, there's a motion by Commissioner Garcia. Is there a second to that motion?
I seconded.
Motion, second by Commissioner Tamayo for discussion. All those in favor, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, motion carries. 8, consideration and approval of courthouse parking lot layout and matters related thereto. Why haven't they taken the tracks out yet? I mean, there was an article in the paper that they were taking the tracks out. Why don't they start in front of our courthouse?
They have a schedule, and I think originally it's scheduled August 19th or 20th. But they might be behind schedule a
I
little bit.
think the last schedule I saw put them in our area in September. Obviously, they have to start at the end and work their way back to the port, toward the port.
Yeah.
And there's been a couple of weeks they haven't appeared to do any work. They've just been sitting at one location.
You should have a copy of the layout that we came up with in-house. We came up with a total of about 206 parking spaces, 6 handicap parking spaces, 3 spaces for law enforcement vehicles, and then 2 spaces for loading zones. We have 2 entrance and exits, and as you can see in your layout, we've tried to take the traffic away from Harrison, and we've put those 2 entrance and exits on Tyler Street. The 10th Street comes from the expressway directly to the courthouse, and so that would be the most convenient to have the entrances and exits on Tyler Road. Across, or just behind the detention center, there is an area of parking also. On this particular one, like I said, we have about 206 parking spaces on the area behind the detention center. We can probably come up with about 60 or 70 parking spaces. For this main parking lot, our cost estimates, strictly for material, because we're talking about doing the project in-house. So for material, approximately $80,000, and then about $15,000-$20,000 for landscaping and irrigation. We do have preliminary approval from the city of Brownsville. We need to go back and get the final approval, and then once we construct it, we'll get the approval on the ADA compliance. So the total that we need for this parking lot is about $100,000. Then for the area behind the detention center, we probably need about $50,000 or $60,000, again, for materials, landscaping, and irrigation. So we need to establish a funding source for this project, about $160,000, $170,000.
One of the, I was looking at this layout, and you said you were going to be going to check on the ADA requirements, because it appears to me that, and I don't know exactly what the requirements are, but only having 6 handicap parking spaces doesn't seem like very many based on the total number of parking spaces that we have, but it certainly could meet the requirements. I'm just not sure, but you did say you were
We'll
going
get that,
to...
and whatever that is, then that will modify the facts for you.
Yeah, you're not planning to eliminate the one that we're currently.
No.
So this is an addition.
In addition.
Currently where?
On 10th Street,
Yeah.
across 10th Street between Harrison and Tyler. Where's the Constables Park? I think there's about maybe 7 or 8 on that side of the street, maybe 6. But
On this, Jim, anything else? On this layout that you gave us, this area here, these are the handicap parking? Or what is this right here?
Right, but I think we're gonna relocate those closer to the administrative building, or at least some of those.
And what about all this dead space area here? Is that gonna, are you intentionally?
I believe that's gonna be the landscaping, yeah.
That's-
Yeah, we have to have a certain percentage as required by the city of Brownsville.
Yeah, but this is an existing parking lot. It's not like building a new one. So don't we get grandfathered in?
We didn't.
No, I
Huh?
think
They consider
you'll
it.
find that all these circles you have on here is radiuses, where are you going, from trees? Are these not trees that have the radius around, the circles around them?
City of Brownsville requires 10% of green area.
Yeah, but this is an existing parking lot.
They didn't consider it.
You know, I mean, it's like we're not building a new one.
So they want us to add green area?
We're gonna have to, yes.
And even irrigation, so that's part of their final determinations. We have to comply with that, and we have to give up some space.
Did we request?
Yes, we met with them many times.
It's not a bad thing. I used to belong to Beautification Brownsville when I was here. That's a good thing. It's not a bad thing to have greenery and pretty trees and stuff like that. I'm all for it.
Okay.
Will they help us pay
so
for
these-
it?
But the answer is that these little circles are green areas?
No, that's not, it's
No,
from trees.
it's trees.
Each vehicle needs to be within 50 foot of a tree.
Okay, so that's what I mean, it's gonna be a tree there.
Yes.
I mean, it's a green area, to me, it's tree is green,
It's allowed for
right?
that, and then we're gonna hire a landscaper to do it.
Okay. And
It's for the car wash business.
are you
Yeah.
gonna put those bumper things there, those,
Car stoppers?
huh? I don't think you should.
Only on those areas where you're immediately on a sidewalk, where you want to get some.
Okay, but not in the.
Not in the interior of the park area.
And what happens to the interior, that's the street stays the same or what?
That's close.
We can overlay
We're
it.
putting in
or-
25 trees.
You might have to put like pavers and stuff out there. Yeah,
Ernesto,
yeah.
what did, or Pete, why did they not grandfather it in? What was the justification?
The problem is if we would have gone in there and kept everything the way it is, with no changes, it would have been grandfathered, but.
Just overlaid it.
We're reconstructing the parking lot. Anytime you do that and make changes, which we are adding as a section of where the railroad is, by doing those changes, you're no longer in the grandfathering laws. You're doing new improvements, so it's considered a new parking lot. That's what we
And,
determined by the city.
thank you, sir. And the area next to DC1, DC2, what did you say about that?
Yeah, we can also,
And that?
convert, yeah.
That's not part of the projected cost, you just not talking?
Yeah, the
Right, we have two
160,000.
different,
Another 60.
we have
for
two
that.
different costs.
Pete, on the entrances that you have proposed on Tyler, are both of them two-way
Yes.
entrances?
Yes.
And how long is it gonna take? I mean, one of the reasons why we had wanted to do it in July was because there was not gonna be any juries.
Right, we're gonna have to do it in two phases, and we'll do one phase, and then we'll do the next phase once the tracks are removed.
Well, won't you do the phase by the detention center
Do that first.
first, so you can have,
Yeah.
And then do the other in two phases, and you'll have more parking available at all times.
Well, how does the phasing in, I mean, where are these jurors gonna park while you're constructing this?
We're gonna have to come up with a traffic control plan and where to park them. And we'll work with the city on that.
how about the federal side parking lot over there?
We'll develop that in-house.
We're also moving during that time period. There'll be a large number of employees moving.
Well, but we need to move and then do it.
Well, I think it kind of almost syncs up with.
Yeah, because I don't think the tracks are going to come out till September sometime. The schedule I saw.
Really need to look at that because,
Ridiculous.
We'll coordinate it.
I mean, the courthouse pretty much, winds down in December also, so you might, I mean.
But it rains. So,
We'll come up with
Yeah,
a traffic.
If you do the 60 next to the detention facility and half of the current parking lot, the big one, you'll be able to accommodate the traffic, and then you do the other half, and it'll work out.
All right, Lonnie?
This project was actually listed in both the 2002 and 2004 COs. So and I spoke to the auditor yesterday.
For how much money? How much, 160,000?
Actually, initially, I think the estimate was around 200,000.
240, right?
Yeah.
So it's covered?
Good.
Well, I'd like for you to tell us when you're ready to start one section.
Okay.
And then go forward and then, we'll go on that basis, because, we really need to time this with the judges, because this could be a disaster if we shut down that parking lot for the jurors, I mean, I don't know what to do.
How long did you say was
We
gonna
might
take?
have to, and one of the things, excuse me, what we might want to do, just in order to avoid problems, is designate a parking lot for jurors. You know, the feds never paid us for that parking lot next door, and that was the agreement that we had with them. And if push comes to shove, you know, we need to park somebody else in front of that parking lot is reserved for jurors, and that's our jurors. You know, because we can't, and that's not even near enough of what we're gonna need.
We'll work it on.
Okay.
Pete, how many entrances do we have right now? I know we have one,
Two, about three.
three entrances?
Yeah.
So we're only gonna shut one off.
Right.
And you think those two would be enough? You don't need another one?
That should be able to work.
A lot of people come in to our parking lot from the federal courthouse side.
They're gonna have to, yeah, right.
They're gonna have to go all the way around.
Right.
Okay. All right, do I hear a motion to approve the layout?
I so moved.
Second.
Any further discussion? All those in favor, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Consent items, items 9 through 16, and several items number 17.
Did you want the supplemental
Oh, I'm
notice?
sorry. Consideration possible action relating to project engineer, architect's determination of substantial completion and acceptance of the Dancer building.
Honorable Judge, Commissioners, I've been asked to present this item. This is the substantial completion of the interior portion of the restoration of the Danzig building. We had a meeting yesterday with the staff, the contractor. Commissioner Wood attended the meeting to review the procedure, process, and time schedules that we need to have. This substantial completion form, according to the contract documents, is a form that I fill out as the architect. Now, you do, however, have the certificate of occupancy from the city. What this does, it will give you the ability to go ahead and possess the building, or take over the building. That will give you the ability to take over the insurance requirements, the maintenance, and those items, if you decide to accept it, my recommendation today. With this agreement, there's a letter in here by the contractor that describes the different dates. Really, the critical time after substantial completion, which would be, if given today at 5 o'clock, the time, and you can begin moving in and after 5 o'clock today, if this is the case, that we would be able to complete, or the contractor complete everything by September the 22nd. Now, that date is a target date that has been trying to accomplish the installation of the Romanesque glass. All items, with the exception of that, will be included up to that portion, up to that date. So, in as far as the substantial completion, I'm recommending that you accept the building at this time, pending those items that are stated in here.
Mr. Ruiz.
Yes, sir.
There's a paragraph, I wish you'd have sent me this at least 10 minutes before the meeting, so I could have read it. But there's a paragraph that disturbs me a little bit here. It says here that you're recommending to us that we acquire the services of personnel who are formally trained and certified in specific systems maintenance.
Okay.
I.e., I would imagine is chill water systems, heating, water pumps, water pressure, fire sprinklers, and electrical switch gear, right?
That's correct.
Doesn't it take more than 1 hour to train these people?
No, the part of the contract, the staff has already been going through training at this point. They've been going through training. My recommendation, there's 3 points in the cover letter that I'd like to, for you to entertain. One is the county does not have a maintenance schedule or program in place. That's really required by Texas Historical Commission. In order for you all to take over this building, historical building, you have to have a maintenance schedule in place, and you do not have that at this time. They've been asking for a schedule, but I'm just making a restatement, restating that fact.
Who's supposed to put that together?
Staff. Your maintenance people are supposed to come up with a schedule, when to change the air conditioning filters, when you go do inspections on the roof.
Has the staff been informed of that?
That's not a requirement. They have recommended it, and they've suggested it, and they've met with us on it, but it's not a requirement the way it's currently being discussed.
But is our staff working on that, or what?
Yeah, we've met to talk about the unique nature of the building. Some of the materials on there are not common. Some of the systems that are in place, so the first time the county's had, like the chill water system, for example, is one of the major concerns that we all have. But I think I have not understood it to be a requirement, I mean, in the sense of the...
Well, it doesn't matter to me whether it's a requirement or not. I mean, the point is that we need to do it because it'll ensure that our system is properly maintained and lasts as long as possible and provides the proper...
And we've been working towards...
Well, and my concern was the training aspect of it, because if you got to train someone, it's kind of like hard to do in one day.
Well, according to this one sentence, if I'm interpreting this correctly, it says, I would like to recommend that Cameron County consider requiring the services of personnel who are formally trained, which means they've already...
And certified.
And certified.
Yeah, one of the things that the system that we're getting in this building is a chill water system. You currently do not have a chill water system in place in any of your buildings, as far as I know, from Marcelino. For the past 1 year and a half that the project's been under construction, the contractor and the subcontractor have been maintaining the building, the chill water system in place, making sure everything is in operation and working order. The maintenance department has gone through a couple of training seminars. They've been going through the systems, make sure that they're aware of what's going on. But I feel, in my my recommendation to the county is that I would like to see someone trained in this particular systems.
And I think they have. I talked to Marcelino about this 6 months ago. And the issue of the training on the chill water system came up, and he said that he was getting someone trained in that particular area. I mean, I understood that all of what you're saying has already happened, from my understanding.
And if that's the case, I mean, I just wanted to make sure that the system is well taken care of. I mean, it's been, for all this time under construction, it's been taken care of by the contractor. As you take over this building and the systems, you really need to make sure that those systems are well taken care of.
Has the furniture been moved out of the basement?
The furniture at this point, part of it is going to be moved out. The furniture.
My question is very simple. You know, has the furniture been moved out of the basement? Is it cleared?
Not all of it.
No?
No, not all of it, yeah.
Okay, my second question would be, when will that occur?
Okay. That is, the way I understand it, yesterday, I was aware from, the contractor has now, I guess we discussed this, the furniture, the contractor has taken over that furniture, and the damaged furniture has been sold, okay? Now, that damaged furniture is no longer in the possession of the county, if that's what your question is.
But it's in the building?
It's in the building, yeah.
Okay, before...
May I interrupt? I'm sorry. We have that on executive session. We have an offer from the insurance company which covers that. It will be removed by Friday, they say.
So if it's not removed, does it become part of the county property? I mean,
I don't think so.
We're issuing substantial completion.
Leftovers.
Well, it's been offered to the county.
It depends on if you accept the offer.
Okay, we'll take it up. Is that all right?
That's all right. I mean, I don't want to compromise executive session. So you can issue a substantial completion certificate even though they have the basement full of furniture?
Well, the furniture at this point does not belong to us. I mean, obviously, they've taken that over, yes. And that furniture is really not in our way to, as of Friday, is going to be removed.
In your on the page where you have outstanding items to install, and I too would have appreciated getting this earlier. Number 7, are you saying that these are the completion dates for all outstanding items for the courthouse? And you list them. They are as follows, and I'm looking at number 7. Major portion of the punch list will complete, I guess you mean will be complete, by July 28th.
This letter that you're reading off of is the contractor's statement on what he intends to do in the time of completion.
Okay, well, I have a problem with major portion. It's either going to be done or it's not done.
Yeah, well,
I'd rather be specific.
yeah, I can assure you that minor stuff, we'll be talking about adjustments of doors. I'm going to be conducting an inspection prior to July the 28th to make sure all the items have been satisfactorily completed. If there's, the contractor's
Oh, well,
going to
then
be...
we'll hold you accountable.
Well, I don't think that you can help.
I have a problem. I have a problem with major portion. I mean, we've had enough problems already, and I don't want to have to go through that again. So
Well-
I have a problem with major portion. What does that mean?
Again, I have prepared, this is the punch list that was given to the contractor, okay?
Pretty lengthy, looks
Well, it
like.
is lengthy, because...
And we want to make sure it's all done.
Well, I can tell you there's going to be minor items, and again, minor is subject to paint touch-ups, door adjustments. I don't think in here there's, change the roof system or
Well, I
change the
think
ceiling
door
system.
adjustments is a big thing.
Well, I guess what it is.
Get it open. Let me ask you a question on the chandelier lights, just as an example,
Yep.
which is the first item they addressed. Are they up and installed?
Yes.
So everything except for the bottom part of the globe is installed?
That's, well, two globes are not installed, that's part punch list. See, the last two items that we were waiting for before I can declare the building substantially complete was the chandelier lights and the audiovisual system. Those two items have been completed. Those have been installed at this point.
And the courtroom seating?
No, we're withholding money out of that until that is installed. So the building is substantially completed in terms of what the contractor has told us that he was going to provide.
But why would you give the 25th if they're not even going to install the seating till the 26th? Wouldn't it be
Hopefully.
the 26th? I mean, I know it's not a whole bunch of money, but it's one day that when these people tell us they're going to finish something by a certain date, I've yet to see that date fulfilled, and then we're giving them a substantial complete.
Well, but keep in mind, Judge, we're withholding the auditorium seating cost. We're not paying them for that until the seating is installed.
I understand that, but when they had a date by which they were going to turn this building over to us, and there's certain liquidated damages that go with that, as I understand, and so
There is.
every day that passes, if they don't turn it over to us completed, it adds another day of liquidated damages, and so, I mean, I don't want to get into discussions from executive session, but I don't understand why we put one day for accepting the building, but the building, even with the courtroom seating, is not going to be finished till the next day.
I can't see.
Assuming that they bring it in, hopefully.
That's my whole point. I don't want to approve something that hasn't been done. And just saying, oh, it will get done. Sorry.
I would like to table this till the next
Yes, I do
meeting.
too.
Well, there's going to be an emergency meeting or something like that Friday, no, Judge? Maybe we can, somebody called me and said.
Somebody called me
something.
too for the elections administrator that needs to require.
And if it has to be done real quick, maybe we can do it then, I don't know. I'm not gonna be here, but I just.
I'd rather table it for Tuesday.
I make a motion, it be
Second,
tabled.
Can I ask a question before you, what exactly is it that you're going to be wanting for me to do?
The completion,
I want to know what's done and what's not done by that day on the items listed on page,
On the letter from the contractor?
the letter from the
The one
contractor.
we were referring to.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
Yeah,
Okay.
it's real simple. I'm not going to approve something that's not done
until it's done.
until it's
I mean,
done. When
i.e.
it's done,
courthouse
it will
seating,
be
you know.
approved.
It's either in or it's not.
So if
I can tell you the glass is not going to be in, that's going to be until September.
Well, we understand that.
Okay.
And we understand that that's not, but there's some stuff like the seating and.
Well, and then you're telling us on number 7, as Commissioner Tamayo pointed out, the major portion of the punch list will be complete by the 28th, which means that by the next meeting, you're going to say there's only very few things left?
After I conduct my inspection.
Right.
Yeah, I'd rather wait to.
And be specific.
Okay,
I
motion
want you
to
to be
table in a
specific.
second. Any further discussion? All those in favor, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
We'll pick it up next week again.
Okay, thank you.
All right, now, going back to the consent, any questions, concerns on the consent item?
So moved, Judge.
Okay, is the motion?
Second.
Second by Commissioner Garcia, any further discussion? All those in favor, signify by saying aye. Aye. Opposed, motion carries. With the motion to go into executive session.
So moved.
Second.
Second.
Motion by Commissioner Benavides, second by Commissioner
Garcia.
Tamayo. Any further discussion? All those in favor, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, motion carries. We're not in executive session. All those opposed, motion carries. We're now in regular session. Item number 19A, possible action on confer with Commissioners for Legal Counsel concerning issues relating to possible acquisition of real property for the Dempsey Building renovation project. Motion to acknowledge report of Pizza
So moved.
Formula by Commissioner Tamayo, second by Commissioner Garcia. Any further discussion? All those in favor, signify by saying aye. Aye. Motion carries. 19B, possible action on deliberation regarding real property concerning acquisition of land for proposed park in La Paloma, Precinct 4. Motion to acknowledge report of
So
Parks Director by Commissioner Tamayo, second by
Second.
Commissioner Garcia. Any further discussion? All those in favor, signify by saying aye. Aye. Opposed, motion carries. 19C, possible action on deliberation regarding real property concerning acquisition of right-of-way for the Westville project. Motion to acknowledge report of Sepulveda.
So moved.
Motion by
Second.
Commissioner Wood, second by Commissioner Garcia. Any further discussion? All those in favor, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Motion carries. 19D, possible action on confer with Commissioners Court Legal Counsel concerning status and possibility of the appeal from the administrative order of the Texas General Land Office pertaining to beach user fees. Motion to acknowledge report of county judge.
So moved.
Second.
Motion by Commissioner Garcia, second by Commissioner Tamayo. Any further discussion? All those in favor, signify by saying aye. Opposed, motion carries. 19E, possible action on confer with Commissioners Court Legal Counsel concerning discussion of settlement offer for water damage furniture. Motion to authorize the acceptance of the sum of $103,340.59 from the insurance company of the contractor.
Yes.
For the cost of
Second.
replacement furniture as per the letter of June the 30th, 2006. Who made the motion? By Commissioner Garcia, second by Commissioner
Second.
Tamayo. Any further discussion? All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, motion carries. 19F, possible action on deliberation regarding real property concerning acquisition of parcel 2 for the replacement bridge of the bridge at FM 803 Resaca de los Fresnos. Motion to authorize the acquisition of the property for the sum of $105.
$151, sir.
$151
So moved.
Second.
by Commissioner Wood, second by Commissioner Tamayo. Any further discussion? All those in favor, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, motion carries. And then the supplemental item on the block of park, I have the agenda item. Here it is. Possible action on control Commissioner Court Legal Counsel concerning March 15th lease agreement on Isla Blanca Park with Laguna Madre Enhancement Group to consider termination or amendment of the lease pursuant to VPCA Government Section 5.07182. Motion to authorize the approval of the contract subject to the changes recommended by the Commissioners Court with respect to the minimum amounts to be paid per parcel of land and a schedule for the construction on each parcel of land as recommended by Commissioners Court.
And it's subject to easements, ingress and egress easements from the west and from the south.
Right.
Referring to those 27 acres.
Yes, only the 27 acres. All right. Is there a motion to that effect?
So moved.
Second? I'll second the motion. Any further discussion? Okay, just for your information, the amended lease that we have negotiated takes out all of the Isla Blanca Park property that contains a deed, that is contained in the deed that was originally deeded to Cameron County by the Navigation District. That keeps 27 acres in the lease, and that's available for construction of a hotel or a casino if there's ever gambling approved by the Texas legislature. And the only thing we need to go back to the developers about is a schedule on on a parcel of land on the 27 acres. In other words, we need to make sure that if they're gonna develop the 27 acres, that they're gonna develop it after a certain period of time on a per parcel basis, dividing it up into parcels, and that there be a minimum amount to be paid per parcel in addition, in the alternative of a percentage per gross revenue per hotel that would be built there. Okay, there's a motion and a second.
I would only like to say, Judge, that I think I'd like to see the contract before I would vote on something like that, personally. I think that the last time I didn't see a contract, you know, as far as what we approved before I voted on it, it came back to hit me in the face in regards to what occurred at the island. And I don't have a problem if we were to table the item and look at a contract after it's finalized and approved by both parties, but I have a concern approving any contract that I can't read.
I feel like I'd rather wait to see, I know we're attempting to tell them how to divide up the 27 acres, and I don't think we have the ability to do that because we don't have their plans on how they're going to use the 27 acres, other than in general terms for the facilities that we had agreed upon them using it for. But parceling it out doesn't, to me, seem to be our job to do. They need to come back to us if we're going to do it on a parcel basis, and then we need to look at that and see if that's acceptable to me.
Well,
The one thing we need to clarify is that we're talking about just those 27 acres outside of the park. That, because we don't want any additional confusion on this.
There's a motion and a second, and then there's a request to be in table. If we vote on the motion and the second, it fails for lack of a majority. So let me take a vote, and then the tabling, we can make the motion after. So all those in favor of the motion on the table, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
On the table.
All opposed?
On the table?
No.
On the
No,
motion.
so
Okay, the
that
motion.
you
Okay,
can
I
go
just
ahead
wanna
with
make
the
sure.
The
table.
motion.
I don't have a problem with
Motion to
that.
approve, and the motion failed. All those opposed?
Nay.
Okay, the motion fails, and then
I would like to move the table.
Second.
all those in favor, signify by stating aye.
Aye.
And I would like to be able to get the information earlier than the day of the meeting, so I could go over it. So as soon as it's available, call me, and I'll be more than happy to come in and visit, if I need to visit with you or whatever.
Well, I think that, go ahead.
Yeah, but the only problem on that, I mean, I just, in defense of Richard, I was on the phone with him till 7 o'clock at night last night. They were still negotiating, and they still had not worked out everything. And so it's, you know, it's just the nature of the beast. It takes a lot of discussion to get to the point where there's an agreement. They had an agreement until we came in and changed it with respect to how to parcel out the 27 acres. So that needs to go back. You need to go back to them and tell them we need some modifications on that issue.
I understand.
That's fine.
All right.
Judge, I'm sorry, on the consent items for the regular agenda, item number 13 was asking for an evaluation committee. If you could amend the motion to approve those consent items to include on item 13A, the evaluation committee for the asbestos survey of Grace Salinas, Eddie Salazar, and Mike Forbes, we would appreciate it.
I made the motion, and I agree with the amendment.
Second.
Yeah, all those in favor, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Motion carries. Motion to adjourn. All right. Commissioner Wood,